everyone, Jairek Robbins here. First off, welcome to episode number 2 of JRCTv. I'm very excited to be talking about today, love and relationships. We're coming to you from the beautiful Gold Coast in Australia. And love and relationships is probably one of my most favorite topics, based on the fact that there's no amount of money, no amount of fame, no amount of accomplishment, no amount of travel, no amount of anything that equals how amazing life becomes when you're truly in love, when you truly have that person to share your passions with, when you truly have that person to share life with. I remember moments of my life, and I'm sure you can remember moments of yours, where I accomplished such big goals and I was so proud of myself. And then I looked around and thought, you know, it'd be awful nice to be able to share this with someone. And it wasn't very fun all by myself. And this is why this topic totally lights me up, is because I've been lucky enough over the past so many months of my life to actually, 8 months now, find a woman to share my life with, and every day is more magnificent than the next. So I'm very excited to touch on this topic and share all the things that happened that went right and all the things that happened that went wrong. And I'm guilty as sin of doing all kinds of stuff wrong, but I studied and studied and studied, learned and learned and learned, paid attention to what was working and what wasn't, and really came up with some solid insights that I feel can be very valuable to you in your relationship, regardless if you're single or married or just getting started. Whatever space you're in as far as a relationship, I really feel these tools can help you. So let's get started. Our question for today's video comes from our friend Nina in Las Vegas. Nina wrote in and said, Jairek, I have 2 questions. Number 1, I have a bunch of girls here in Vegas and they're all trying to figure out, how do you know if a man is just a friend or a potential romantic partner? Well, Nina, let's jump into question number 1 here. She has 2, but let's go for 1. Question number 1, when you're trying to decipher, is a man potential romantic partner or just a friend, or if you're a guy watching, is a woman a potential partner or just a friend? Here's what you want to figure out. Number 1, you want to sit down and make a list, and you want to make a list of, in your ultimate relationship, the most amazing relationship you could ever imagine, what do you need, what do you want, and what do you desire most in that relationship? How do you want them to talk to you? How do you want them to feel? How do you want them to look? How do you want them to experience you? How do you want her to, you know, support you or look up to you or talk with you? And same thing, guy and girl. And then you want to make another list. In your ideal friendship, what do you need? What do you want? What do you desire most from that friendship? And when you start to decipher what's the difference between your friendship and your relationship, you'll be very easy to tell the difference of someone who's just a friend or someone who's a romantic partner potential. Now, in that, here's the next piece you want to pay attention to, is you want to go down and figure out not only what you need, want, desire, but what is your plan or what is your strategy to vocalize it to the person or people that you need, want, desire it from the most. You know, what's your strategy? What's your plan to vocalize it to your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your fiance, or the person you just met? How are you going to vocalize what you need, want, desire most from the relationship to them? And if it's your friend, same thing in friendships. How do you vocalize what you need, want, desire out of your friendship to the people that you want it from? And here's what's interesting. When I go down the list and try to figure out why won't people do this, the number 1 thing that comes up in my mind is the reason why most people will avoid figuring out what they need, want, desire and vocalizing it is actually past pain. It's the fear that they might get hurt again, like something happened back then that hurt their heart, and they're trying to protect themselves. So you might be the person watching who goes, Jairek, I already know what I need, I already know what I want, I already know what I desire, I've written out my lists and I know exactly who they are, and trust me, I've dated men all over the world and I've dated women all over the world and no one meets my standards. Anyone out there thinking this? I've certainly been guilty myself, where I want them to look like this and feel like this and act like this and be like this and never be like this and always be like this, and you create such an unrealistic list that the truth is not even you live up to, and you do it purposefully to protect yourself. You're scared of getting hurt, so instead of putting yourself out there and really risking something, you get this unrealistic list and you fend off everybody by purely acting like no one can live up to your list. So in thinking about that, the first thing you got to do is make sure it's a list of what you need, what you want, what do you desire, and really make sure it's a reasonable list of expectations. Now, it can be a high standard, high quality list of expectations. It just has to be reasonable, because I'll tell you, you want to make sure that there's handfuls of people out there in the world that can certainly live up to it, and it's the type of list that even you can live up to. Here's the second reason, real quick, why people feel that they aren't going to do this. They're scared to do this. Not only past pains, but the second part is they don't feel worthy of an incredible relationship, the kind of relationship they dream about in their mind, the kind of relationship their heart yearns for. And when to answer this question of not feeling worthy, the very first thing you got to look at is this. Most people are going into a relationship looking for, what do I want to get out of the relationship versus what am I here to give to the relationship. So think of this. If you go into a relationship, a friendship, an intimate relationship, a business relationship, and you're thinking about all the things you're going to give that person, how you want to share with that person, how you want to serve that person, how you want to help that person, how you want to protect and defend and give to that person constantly, you're never worried about if you're worthy or not. All you're focused on is, how do I serve? How do I give? How do I help? How do I support? How do I back up? How do I have their back? How do I give to them? So this next step is not only what do you need, want, desire, but to get over this am I worthy segment, you really need to focus on and come up with a list of, what am I excited and passionate about giving to the relationship? What am I truly here to serve and give, and how am I going to support the relationship, and how am I going to nurture the relationship and grow the relationship? That's the second part. The third reason why people don't want to make these lists and vocalize them to the people that they want the love and from the relationship with the most, the third reason, really simply, is because they're scared they're going to scare away the one. I don't know if you've ever had this feeling, but this feeling of like, oh my gosh, there's this one perfect person out there. And if I find this person, and it's the right person, but it's the wrong time, and I tell them everything I need and everything I want and everything I desire and all the ways I'm going to give to them and all the ways I'm going to serve them, what if I scare them away? Real quick, this is something we're going to cover in a later video, but you do need to find the right person at the right time. It's so important. Not only the right person, but at the right time. And you really truly need to get into the mindset, if you're single, of sorting the many, not finding the one. For most people, they're so scared that if you find somebody and you share with them all of your heart's desires, all the things you want, all the things you need, all the things you really feel that you really deserve and you yearn for in a relationship, that they might run away. In actuality, you want to get good at scaring away the people who would never intend to give you those things in the first place, who would start a relationship with you acting like they want to do it, but in actuality, in the long run, would never step up to the plate and would never give you that which you need, want, desire the most. So those are the three reasons. Either it's past pain and you're just protecting yourself by having this completely unrealistic list of what you're trying to get from the relationship. So we said, just really simply, make the list totally realistic and keep your high standards. Just a realistic list of high standards, not completely unrealistic and unreasonable standards. Next, we said the other reason is people feel unworthy of a relationship. In this stage, instead of trying to figure out what you're going to get from the relationship and if you're worthy of it or not, really define what are you here to give to the relationship and how are you going to serve, how are you going to provide, how are you going to support, how are you going to give, so you're never worried if you're worthy because you're just giving so much. And number three, the final piece is people are worried they might scare away the one. You need to practice getting into the mindset of sorting the many, not finding the one. So here's 3 reasons why to do this in your relationship. Number 1, you want to get really good at sorting the many versus finding the one. We just talked about this. You want to get good at getting the people out of the way who are standing in the way between you and the person you're looking for. And when I say the one, I don't mean there's only one out there. I mean finding the people who are ready to step up and give you what you need, give you what you want, give you what you desire. Ideally, you want to find the person that everything you want to give to the relationship is what they need, want, desire the most. And everything they want to give to the relationship is everything you need, want, desire the most. So that's the first part. The second part that you really want to focus on is not only how you're going to give to the relationship, but this other piece that we're all familiar with, which is called the law of attraction. Whatever you focus on is what you're going to find. If you have a defined list of exactly what you need, exactly what you want, exactly what you desire, and what you're going to do to give, to serve, to provide for that relationship, and every day you read it, and every day you look over it, and every day you commit it to your mind, body, and emotions, you vocalize it into the world. You know as well as I do, you're going to be so focused on it that the moment you see it, bingo, you're going to be able to identify it and know exactly if they're relationship material, and you're not going to be worried if they're just a friend or relationship material because you'll know exactly who you're looking for. So you'll know exactly how to identify them when you find them. And finally, number 3, the third reason why you absolutely have to make these lists, you know, the list of what you need, want, desire, and what you're going to give to it, and how you, also the second list of how you're going to vocalize that to the person you need, want, desire it from the most, is because there's nothing more beautiful on this planet. There's nothing more fulfilling on this planet than finding someone to share the magnificence of life with. And that's what's waiting for you. So Nina's second question was, is it okay for the woman to make the first move? And here's what's interesting. This goes back to a book that I read, and hopefully you've read too, which is called The Way to the Superior Man. It was written by David Data, and he talks about masculine and feminine energy. This isn't man and woman or woman and man. It's masculine and feminine energy. He shows us that every man and every woman has both masculine and feminine energy within them. So here's what I would say. It's not should a woman make the first move or should a man make the first move. It's the masculine energy. And just to give you some insight of what is masculine energy, according to the book, David says masculine energy is the type of energy that wants to take big things and make them small. It wants to lock on from point A to point B, figure out how to close the gap rapidly, break through anything that's stopping them, and find a way to get to the victory, get to the outcome so that it can finally relax. Versus feminine energy wants to be open and free and flowing. It wants to take little stuff and magnify it so it can feel every ounce and aspect of what's there, so it can really soak in the beauty and magnificence of life around it. That's the difference between masculine and feminine energy. So here's the answer to the question. Whoever has the natural core masculine energy of the relationship should always make the first move. Regardless if that's the man or woman, the masculine energy needs to make the first move so that the feminine energy can feel that energy coming to them. Now here's the tricky part. You definitely want to read David's book because he talks about how all of us are born with a core, yet through our lives, we come up with all these reasons to keep putting masculine and feminine masks on top of it. We summarized some of the main points we learned in David Data's book, The Way to the Superior Man. And on my blog, if you click the link on YouTube to go to my blog, or if you're watching it on my blog, there should be an opt-in box that if you enter your name and email address, we will email you a free copy of the Way to the Superior Man book summary. So you can read along and get some of the main points. Still highly recommend you go read the whole book. But in the summary, we give you at least a few of the main points to get some momentum in understanding this concept of masculine and feminine energy. Anyways, we gave you some insights on how do you know if they're just a friend or a romantic partner. We gave you some insights on who should make the first move, always the masculine energy. And we even offered you a free summary here to check out some more and learn some more and gaining momentum in David Data's work. So, with all of that, we want to say thank you so much for watching episode number 2 of JRCTv. Remember to click subscribe on the YouTube channel and also enter your name and email on my blog to get a free copy of the book summary. And finally, I just wanted to say thank you for joining us on this episode. And I'm so excited to share with you next week's episode, episode number 3. Topic is going to be travel and adventure. Beware, it's going to get a little fun of all our random shenanigans around the world. But until then, I hope you have an amazing week, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.